Ethan Brooks was a rising star in the tech world. At just 32 years old, he had founded a successful AI startup called Next Tech Solutions based in Silicon Valley. Known for his innovation and charming personality, Ethan seemed to have it all: a thriving career, a penthouse smart home equipped with the latest technology, and a promising future that many entrepreneurs could only dream of. But on the night of April 10, 2024, Ethan Brooks vanished without a trace from his ultra-secure smart home. His advanced security system recorded strange glitches that night: doors locking and unlocking on their own, unusual noise detections throughout the apartment, and most mysteriously, all security cameras shutting off simultaneously at exactly 11:23 p.m. When Ethan failed to check in with his staff the next morning, immediate alarm bells rang throughout his company. His personal assistant, Maria Santos, tried calling him repeatedly with no response. This was completely out of character for Ethan, who was known to be extremely punctual and reliable, often working 16-hour days and never missing important meetings. The police were called to conduct a welfare check at his penthouse apartment, only to find the place eerily silent and seemingly untouched. There were no signs of a struggle, no evidence of forced entry, and Ethan's expensive Tesla was still parked in his designated spot in the building's underground garage. His wallet, keys, and phone were all missing, but everything else appeared normal. What happened to Ethan Brooks during those mysterious hours when his own technology seemed to turn against him? Was this a case of foul play orchestrated by corporate rivals? Or did something far more sinister cause his disappearance? This is the story of a man who vanished into thin air, leaving behind a digital mystery that would baffle investigators for months. Authorities immediately began their investigation by examining the smart home system logs, hoping to find clues about Ethan's final hours. The last confirmed user login was recorded as Ethan himself at 10:45 p.m. on April 10th, when he activated the nighttime security protocol. However, system algorithms detected multiple suspicious remote commands executed after midnight, strongly suggesting someone else had gained unauthorized access to his home automation network. Neighbors in the luxury high-rise building reported hearing strange mechanical noises coming from Ethan's floor that night. Faint whirring sounds, electronic beeps, and what sounded like machinery operating at unusual hours. Several residents also experienced intermittent power outages throughout the building, which building maintenance could not explain. The building's main security elevator malfunctioned mysteriously that same night, stopping between floors for several minutes before resuming normal operation. Security footage from the lobby showed the elevator doors opening and closing repeatedly with no passengers inside, as if controlled by an external source. Detective Laura Morris, a specialist in cybersecurity crimes, was brought onto the case due to the unusual digital evidence. With over 15 years of experience investigating technology-related disappearances, Detective Morris immediately recognized that these glitches were not random malfunctions. Someone had hacked Ethan's sophisticated smart home system with remarkable precision, systematically erasing digital footprints while manipulating connected devices throughout the apartment. The investigation revealed that Ethan's home was equipped with over 200 connected devices, from smart light bulbs and thermostats to automated kitchen appliances and voice-controlled assistants. Every single device had been compromised during the time window when Ethan disappeared, suggesting this was the work of a highly skilled cybercriminal with intimate knowledge of his system architecture. The investigation took a dramatic turn when detectives discovered Ethan's final video call, recorded automatically by his computer's security software. On April 9th, just one day before his disappearance, Ethan was captured on video, arguing heatedly with an unidentified man whose face was obscured by a digital mask filter. The conversation grew increasingly hostile, with the mystery caller making what appeared to be threats. The recorded call ended abruptly after Ethan shouted, "You can't threaten me like this. I know who you really are," before slamming his laptop shut. Digital forensics experts worked for weeks to try to unmask the caller's identity, but the sophisticated encryption made identification nearly impossible. Further investigation into Ethan's recent communications revealed he had been working on a revolutionary AI project that promised to disrupt entire industries, potentially threatening the interests of major technology corporations and government agencies. The project, codenamed Mirror Mind, involved creating AI systems that could perfectly mimic human decision-making processes. A series of encrypted emails found on Ethan's private server showed ongoing communication with a shadowy figure who demanded that Ethan abandon his groundbreaking work. The messages grew increasingly aggressive over several months, with the final email received just hours before Ethan's disappearance containing only the chilling words, Last warning, stop the project or face consequences. Personal relationships also became suspect during the investigation. Ethan's business partner and romantic interest, Eva Turner, demonstrated unusual distress when questioned by police, initially refusing to cooperate fully with the investigation. Close friends reported that Ethan had been expressing fears for his personal safety in recent weeks, convinced that someone was watching his every move and monitoring his communications. Months passed with little progress, and the investigation seemed to hit a dead end. Then a breakthrough came from the most unlikely source. Ethan's smart home assistant, still operational in his empty apartment, began issuing voice commands completely on its own during the early morning hours. Building security guards reported hearing the device speaking when no one was present in the unit. Audio recordings recovered from the system's memory banks captured chilling messages being broadcast throughout the empty apartment. "I'm watching you. You can't hide from me." And most disturbing of all, he got what he deserved. The messages appeared to be generated by an unknown external source, hijacking the voice assistant system. Digital forensics experts worked around the clock to trace the source of these mysterious communications. Their investigation uncovered partially deleted files hidden deep within the smart home's memory systems, revealing evidence of a clandestine surveillance network that had been secretly installed throughout Ethan's apartment months before his disappearance. The surveillance system was far more sophisticated than anything commercially available, capable of monitoring every conversation, tracking movement patterns, and even detecting biometric data like heart rate and stress levels. Whoever had installed this system had been watching Ethan's every move for an extended period, learning his routines and gathering intelligence. Most shocking of all was the discovery that the surveillance equipment had been recording Ethan for months, capturing intimate conversations with friends, business meetings with potential investors, and private moments in his own home. The recordings revealed that Ethan had gradually become aware he was being watched, growing increasingly paranoid and suspicious of everyone around him in his final weeks. The investigation finally gained momentum when digital forensics experts successfully traced the source of the smart home hacks to a former employee of Next Solutions named Marcus Reed. Marcus had been fired 6 months earlier for ethical breaches related to stealing proprietary code and attempting to sell company secrets to competitors. Marcus had an extensive background in cybersecurity and a documented history of cyber attacks against former employers. Investigators discovered that he had maintained unauthorized access to Nextech's internal systems even after his termination, using his insider knowledge to monitor Ethan's activities and plan his revenge. Under intense interrogation, Marcus initially denied any involvement in Ethan's disappearance, but eventually confessed to orchestrating the sophisticated cyber attack on the smart home system. However, he maintained his innocence regarding what happened to Ethan himself, claiming he only intended to scare and harass his former boss, not cause him physical harm. Marcus provided investigators with a shocking alternative theory. He claimed that Ethan had discovered the surveillance system weeks before his disappearance, and had been planning to fake his own death to escape mounting pressure from corporate rivals and government agencies interested in his AI technology. According to Marcus, Ethan had been secretly liquidating assets, transferring money to offshore accounts, and preparing to assume a new identity. The cyber attack on his smart home was meant to create the perfect cover story for his planned disappearance, making it appear as though he had been kidnapped or murdered by unknown assailants. This revelation forced investigators to reconsider everything they thought they knew about the case. Had Ethan Brooks been the victim of a sophisticated crime? Or was he the mastermind behind an elaborate scheme to escape his old life and start fresh with a new identity? The case took an even darker turn when investigators discovered a hidden compartment behind a false wall in Ethan's penthouse study. Inside, they found evidence that Ethan himself had been conducting extensive surveillance operations on his friends, employees, business partners, and even romantic interests, including Eva Turner. The compartment contained thousands of photographs, audio recordings, and detailed behavioral analysis reports on people in Ethan's life. The documents revealed a pattern of obsessive monitoring that had been going on for years, suggesting paranoia, control issues, and potentially dangerous psychological problems. Most disturbing were handwritten notes in Ethan's own handwriting, documenting perceived threats and betrayals by people he considered close friends. Eva Turner appeared frequently in these notes, with Ethan expressing suspicions that she was planning to steal his technology and leave him for a competitor. The final breakthrough came from an unexpected source, a security drone, operated by the building management had captured footage from the service entrance on the night of Ethan's disappearance. The low-resolution video showed a masked figure dragging what appeared to be an unconscious person toward a service elevator around 2:30 a.m. However, the image quality was too poor to make a definitive identification of either the perpetrator or the victim. Digital enhancement techniques failed to provide clear facial recognition, leaving investigators with more questions than answers about what really happened that night. The discovery of this footage reignited the investigation, but it also raised disturbing new possibilities about whether Ethan had been the victim of foul play, or potentially the perpetrator of violence against someone else who had discovered his surveillance activities. Ethan Brooks remains missing to this day, and his disappearance has become one of Silicon Valley's most perplexing unsolved mysteries. The case has forced technology companies to reconsider the security vulnerabilities inherent in smart home systems and the potential for these devices to be weaponized by criminals with advanced hacking skills. The investigation sparked a global discussion about privacy rights, digital security, and the psychological effects of living in an increasingly connected world where every aspect of daily life can be monitored and recorded. Many experts pointed to Ethan's case as a cautionary tale about the dangers of becoming too dependent on technology. Eva Turner eventually took control of Next-Tech Solutions and abandoned the controversial Mirror Mind project that had been Ethan's obsession. She has consistently maintained that she believes Ethan was murdered by corporate rivals who wanted to steal his technology, though she has never provided evidence to support this theory. Marcus Reed was sentenced to 5 years in prison for cybercrimes related to the smart home attacks, but charges related to Ethan's disappearance were dropped due to insufficient evidence. He continues to claim that Ethan staged his own disappearance and is living under a false identity somewhere in South America. Ethan's family continues to search for answers, hiring private investigators and offering substantial rewards for information about his whereabouts. They maintain hope that he will one day return, or that new evidence will finally reveal the truth about what happened during those mysterious hours in his smart home. The Ethan Brooks case remains officially classified as a missing person investigation, though many detectives privately believe they are dealing with a homicide. His story serves as a chilling reminder that in our modern world, the technology we create to protect us can also become the tool of our own destruction. This is the story of Ethan Brooks, a brilliant innovator who vanished into the digital abyss he helped create, leaving behind a mystery that technology alone cannot solve.